Hi, Chris Smith here from Storytelling Schools. Today I'd like to tell you the story of the bird and the forest fire. It's a lovely ancient story, maybe 2,000 years old. It comes from India and people have been telling it since then. Now I'm going to tell it to you. And it goes like this. Once upon a time there was a forest. And in the forest there was a tree. And on that tree there lived a bird. And that little bird loved her tree. She loved the height of it, she loved the width of it, she loved the green leaves that came out in spring, she loved the blossoms, and she loved all the creatures that lived in and around her tree. The little beetles under the bark, the other birds nesting in the branches, the deer and the rabbits and the ferrets down below. So many animals that she loved as her friends and her family. And one day, she'd just woken up when she smelt something burning. And she flew up high above the forest and she saw in the distance what looked like a long red snake coming through the forest towards her, huge and bright, and she knew that it was fire. There was danger, it was dangerous, it was going to come to her tree and destroy her tree. She called out to all her friends, listen, listen, the fire is coming, we have to do something, we have to save our home. But the rabbit said, you can't stop fire, dear, I'm going. And the deer said, no, we're running away, we're not going to stay, you must be crazy. And the other birds flew, everybody flew, and the brave little bird was there by herself. She could smell the smoke, she could hear the flames, and she knew that soon it would burn her home, that tree that she loved so much. She thought, I'm going to do something. I have to save my home. So she flew down to a stream and she picked up on the tips of her wings little droplets of water, and then very carefully she flew to where the fire was and flipped the droplets into the flames, and they went fizz, fizz, fizz as they went into the flames. And she flew back to the stream, got a little more water, flew back to the fire, and back and forth. She threw the water into the fire, trying to stop the flames. But the flames came closer and closer and closer to her home. Now, up in the heavens, the gods were watching. And they were laughing. Look at her, said one. Who does that bird think she is, says another. She can't stop the fire. She's going to be burnt to a crisp soon. Yeah, I know, it serves her right. They were laughing and joking. Except for one god, the eagle god. He looked down and he saw the little bird trying so hard to stop the fire, and he thought, she has courage, she has bravery. Maybe I can help her. So he stretched out his eagle wings and he glided down through the gap between the sky and the heavens down to the forest, and he hovered above the little bird as she went between the stream and the flames. And he called down, little bird, you've done your best, you're brave, you're fine, but you cannot stop the fire. Run away now so you'll be safe. And she said, no, I don't want to. I want to save my home. I don't care if I die. It's my home and I love it and I'm not going to let it burn. And when the eagle god heard those words, a tear appeared in his eye. He just felt for her. And the tear dripped down into the flames. Psst, and another. Psst, and another. And the tears became a little stream. And the stream became a gushing waterfall of water that went down onto the flames and extinguished them. So the flames were out before they came to the little bird's tree. And the eagle god went home, and our little bird, she went home back to her tree, and her friends came back and life went back to normal. And in springtime, that great field of ash where the fire had burned, little green shoots came up through it, and life in that part of the forest began again. And that's the end of that, the story of the bird and the forest fire. So I love that story. and you can use it for lots of things. Here's our list of things to do with a story. First of all, you can tell the story, and if you want to tell it, you might want to draw a little map to help you remember. Here's a map I just did here. So here's the bird in the forest on the tree, and she loves everything about her tree. Then she sees fire. What's she going to do? She asks for help, but all her friends say, no, we can't help you. We've got to get away. But she stays. She goes between the fire and the flames with little droplets of water, doing her best to help. The gods up there, they're laughing. They're saying, who does she think she is? But the eagle god comes down and admires her, and tears turn to a stream, turn to a gushing waterfall that puts out the flames. And next spring, little green shoots come up through the ash and life begins again. So that's my map. And again, you can step it to help you remember before you have a go at telling it in the way that I told it. Let me see if I can think of a way to do that. So it could be, first step, I love my tree. Second step, fire. Third step, sorry, we can't help. Fourth, I'm going to try. Fifth step, look at her, silly little bird. Sixth step, tear turns to stream, turns to waterfall. Last step, in spring, little green shoots return. So those movements help me remember the story. You can have a go at learning it in that way. And then after that, well, there's lots to talk about. Discuss the story together in your group and see what you can learn from it. What does the story have to say for you? You might want to act it all out. It's a lovely story physically to go between the different parts of the forest, or you could role play parts of it, different conversations, different things that are going on. You might want to do some drawing and some painting. There's all those scenes with the forest and who lives in the forest and the fire and the gods and all of those things happening. Good way to reimagine it and practice your painting skills. There's plenty of places to write poems and songs to retell all or parts of that story in different ways. You might want to do a little bit of research about forests and forest fires and what people do now to protect themselves against that. You could rewrite the story in the way that you want, and you could recycle it. Maybe here, think about the theme, which is when some big threat is coming, how one person can help. There's lots of threats all the time, and maybe you could think of one. Maybe, the coronavirus epidemic would be one. It's a big threat. It's global. What can each of us do to help? That would be a nice story to tell right now. So that's The Bird and the Forest Fire, my present to you. I hope you enjoy it. You find a way to tell it and work with it and enjoy it. So for now, that's all from me.